Hi, this is New Time on Silkway TV channel. We introduce you with the most visible news and important events that happen throughout this week in Kazakhstan and Central Asia. More details on politics, economy, social and cultural life with opinions from the most recognizable experts of Kazakhstan and world. I'm Ainur Mangali and this is what you'll see today. Federal Chancellor Olaf Scholz, in his first official trip to Central Asia, stated Berlin's readiness to expand economic partnership with the region. We followed the agenda of the visit. China's nuclear experience. What can Kazakhstan learn from its neighbor's success in developing the atomic industry? Balzhan Samigulina's interview. EBRD is ready to invest more in Kazakhstan. What areas of cooperation are on the table? President Tokayev met with newly appointed leaders of Kazakhstan security agencies, including First Deputy Chairman of the National Security Committee, Ali Altunbayev, Deputy Chairman, Head of the Anti-Terrorism Service, Bakitbek Rahimberdiyev, and Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs, Commander-in-Chief of the National Guard, Ansagan Baltabekov. During the meeting, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev gave a number of instructions on the supervised areas of activity of the relevant departments. Additionally, Kazakh president met with General Prosecutor Berik Asilov, who reported that the prosecutor's office has recovered over $540 million in assets. Over the past 4 years, 17 million hectares of land have been returned to the state, benefiting 11,000 shareholders. In the fight against drug crime, more than 1,500 trafficking cases have been uncovered this year, with over 15 tons of drugs seized, according to Asilov. Now let's move on to some other significant news topics. This week, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz paid an official visit to Kazakhstan at the invitation of President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. This visit marks a reciprocal gesture, as President Tokayev visited Germany exactly a year ago in Berlin. In a show of hospitality for his German counterpart, Kazakh president hosted a ceremonial reception in Akorda residence. Following it, bilateral discussions in both narrow and larger formats took place. German Chancellor in turn expressed gratitude to President Tokayev for the warm welcome and highlighted the impressive growth of bilateral relations. For more on this visit, watch the following report by Balzhan Samigulina.
Exactly a year ago, President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev and Chancellor Olaf Scholz held their first meeting in Berlin. During that official visit, the leaders agreed to strengthen collaboration on joint efforts, focusing on petrochemicals, metallurgy, logistics, mining and energy. Today, the parties reviewed their plans, discussing future cooperation and addressing international issues.
This is the first visit in 14 years of the German Chancellor here, so it is a historic visit. I am sure that we will give a strong impetus to the development of our cooperation and to further increasing bilateral trade. This is very important, since Germany is one of our major European and even global partners. We will do our utmost to further deepen and strengthen our mutual ties.
Kazakhstan, with its abundant natural resources and strong transit potential, has long been a key partner for Germany in Central Asia. This is reflected in the numbers too. The mutual trade turnover for the first 7 months of this year reached $2.3 billion. Exports from Kazakhstan to Germany saw a nearly 3% increase, totaling $662 million. Moreover, German Chancellor has stated that Berlin would be interested in expanding these trade opportunities with Astana.
We are committed to doing everything possible to improve the conditions of our economic relations, to facilitate direct investments in your country, and to expand opportunities for mutual trade. Of course, we also want to develop economic cooperation in other areas, and very pleased with the steady progress in energy cooperation. We have established a trusting and consistent partnership, which serves as a great example for the whole world.
In the previous meeting, President Tokayev proposed establishing a raw materials consortium, emphasizing Kazakhstan's impressive resource of rare earth materials, valued at an estimated $46 trillion. The leaders also agreed on a partnership for green transformation, successfully attracting the first $50 billion in investments. In addition to financial support, Germany is sharing valuable technology, expertise and skilled personnel.
подготовка специалистов для энергетики.
During this visit, 6 documents will be signed. The training of specialists in energy, thermal energy, and electrical management will be conducted in collaboration with German colleagues. The second agreement will be based on establishing a Kazakhstan-Germany Research Center for Metallurgy at the East Kazakhstan Technical University. Additionally, a research center focused on water issues will be created at the National University.
Apart from it, the international agenda was a key topic of high-level discussions in Astana. At the guest request, President Tokayev shared his view on the settlement of the situation around Ukraine. He noted that in military terms, Russia is invincible and warns that further escalation of the conflict could have devastating consequences for humanity. While he acknowledged that the opportunity for a ceasefire was missed with the rejection of the Istanbul Agreement, President Tokayev expressed optimism about the possibility of achieving peace through proposals put forth by China and Brazil, which, as he stated, deserve support. Thus, following the meetings, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev and Olaf Scholz issued a joint declaration on cooperation between their countries. Delegation members also signed 3 memoranda focusing on the banking sector and higher education, making the visit of German Chancellor to Astana fruitful for both nations. Balzhan Samigulina, New Time.
In an exclusive interview to Silkway, Kazakh Deputy Foreign Minister Roman Vasilenko commented on Kazakhstan's stance on the global political arena, highlighting the country's alignment to the UN's Charter and commitment for the peaceful resolutions of the conflicts. Further details on the first official visit of Olaf Scholz to Kazakhstan and Central Asia are in the Reporter with President special project. Watch it this weekend on Silkway TV channel.
Kazakhstan is a peaceful country. Kazakhstan is now known for its pragmatic and balanced foreign policy. We do not have not even bad but tense relations with any country in the world, and Kazakhstan naturally is a country that is actively promoting the diplomacy, the peaceful resolution of differences in the world. We support the United Nations Charter, and naturally such a clear position supported and promoted by our leadership is very much appreciated by the international community, and that is why people from outside of this region, they want to interact with Kazakhstan and to see what sort of future we can jointly build.
Meanwhile, Kazakhstan and Germany have signed 66 investment projects valued at $55 billion. This announcement was made during a bilateral business forum attended by President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev and Federal Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Additionally, 35 agreements worth over $6 billion were signed between Kazakh and German businesses during the forum. What sectors will these investments target? For more details, stay tuned for a following report.
Since 2005, direct investments from Germany into Kazakhstan's economy have reached approximately $6.7 billion, with a notable 90% directed toward the non-extractive sector. Over the past 2 years, trade turnover between the two countries has nearly doubled. In 2021, the trade volume stood at $2.2 billion, and by the end of last year, it approached $4 billion. This growth has positioned Germany among Kazakh's top 10 trading partners. Additionally, last year, Kazakhstan exported about $742 million worth of goods to Germany, while imports exceeded $3 billion. Thus, Germany continues to be a key partner for Kazakhstan within the European Union, said President Tokayev, emphasizing that all venues remain open for German entrepreneurs, offering extensive business opportunities for their initiatives.
The extraction and processing of natural resources based on the pragmatic formula investments and technologies in exchange for critical raw materials. Our mineral resource base consists of over 5,000 unexplored deposits with an estimated value of trillions of dollars. Today, we produce 19 out of 34 rare earth materials crucial for the European economy. In line with these efforts, the German Mineral Resources Agency, DERA, and Kazakh partners are establishing a trade consortium for critical raw materials.
Pharmaceuticals, digital technologies, and energy are just a few sectors ripe with opportunities for cooperation between the countries. Kazakhstan is poised to boost its energy resource exports to global markets, including renewable energy. The German Svevent Group is set to invest $50 billion in Kazakhstan to produce and supply green hydrogen to the European market. Additionally, the logistics sector also offers significant potential. President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev has proposed connecting the Middle Corridor with the Trans-European Transport Network and the EU's Global Gateway Initiative, which would enhance trade between East and West. Apart from that, the parties signed agreement aimed to reduce excessive bureaucracy, as highlighted by Kazakh Minister of Trade.
Technical regulation is one of the pressing issues that repeatedly arises when exporting goods from Kazakhstan to Germany. We have long discussed this matter with our German colleagues and have finally arrived at a series of solutions that will help streamline trade mechanisms and, in turn, increase product supplies to the Republic.
In Kazakhstan, the working group focused on strengthening economic ties with Germany is led by the first Deputy Prime Minister. This leadership is reflected in the significant delegation of German business people who traveled with the Chancellor, leading to a series of agreements being signed. Experts say this collaboration has opened new avenues for cooperation between Kazakhstan and Germany, and the momentum is expected to keep building. Valjan Samigulina, New Time.
German companies and European countries have developed trust in Kazakhstan's investment climate, said the German ambassador to Kazakhstan, Monika Iversen, in an interview with New Time. She emphasized that these favorable conditions explain the growing interest from German investors. A clear example of this is the large delegation of German business leaders who arrived this week alongside Chancellor Scholz. The current and future joint projects between Germany and Kazakhstan in the following interview.
Germany is a major investor in Kazakhstan with big projects like $50 billion green hydrogen cluster in Mangistau, $500 million of lithium production plant. So can you elaborate on the strategic importance of these investments and how they support the sustainable development goals for both of our countries?
Thank you very much. Yes, these are projects that contribute to what we would like to see in terms of supporting the sustainable development goals. That means also making energies more green, the energy that we use, make it more of a green energy. For Germany, I can say that for us, for example, green hydrogen is the fuel of the future, but Germany will only be able to produce so much in Germany itself. We will need much more that we have to import. So we are looking for good partners, strategic partners abroad as well, with whom we can develop, for example, the green hydrogen industry, with the goal of using some of it in the countries themselves where it is produced, but also with the potential to export green hydrogen to Germany, so that it benefits both sides in terms of transitioning from traditional forms of energy, fossil forms of fuels and fossil forms of energy to green energy. And for lithium, it's the same. It's a rare earth that we will need for many of the things we want to do in terms of transitioning out of classical forms of energy, and we will need for e-mobility, and of course for as you know, for phones, mobile phones, lithium, and for many other things.
Yes, after all these years of our bilateral cooperation, we see that there are many new agreements, new contracts. Does it mean that the investment climate in our region is getting better?
I think we see a lot of companies being even more interested now to invest in Kazakhstan, in Central Asia in general, and it's not just German companies. I see many companies from other countries are also starting to invest in Kazakhstan, and I think it's due to the fact that companies and countries have developed trust in the conditions that they find in Kazakhstan, and the government has done quite a few things to support that, to provide incentives also for these investments, as for example free economic zones, establishing those, or giving temporary tax benefits to companies that come here so they can establish themselves. So I think together with the measures and the developments we've seen over recent years, there is now an even stronger interest to invest in Kazakhstan, and quite a few countries and quite a few companies, are doing this quite successfully.
Yes, we know that Kazakhstan provides like 19 of the 34 materials crucial to the EU's economy, and this year it increases oil supplies to the Germany refinery in Schwedt. Considering this, what future opportunities do you see for our countries in collaboration in energy sector?
I think there are several opportunities. The one you mentioned yourself, which is the big project to produce green hydrogen here in Kazakhstan. Another one for me would be renewable energies. We all know that Kazakhstan has fantastic opportunities and fantastic potential for even more green energy, for example, solar power, solar energy, or wind energy. Sun and wind are things that exist very much and very plentiful here in Kazakhstan. So based on that, I see opportunities for cooperation in all these sectors, green hydrogen and renewable energies in general. And on the other side, you mentioned rare earths and minerals. That also is something where I think we have a lot of potential for future cooperation.
One last question, if you don't mind. As Kazakhstan prepares for the upcoming UN Summit of the Future, how does Germany plan to work with our country on key global issues like as well climate change, peace building, sustainable development?
Well, let me start by saying that the Summit of the Future for us is very important because we hope to adopt the Pact of the Future with all member states of the United Nations. Germany and Namibia have been co-facilitators of this text of the Pact for the Future. We very much hope it will be adopted to sort of recommit all the member states recommitting to the goals of the United Nations, to the Charter, to the climate goals, but also the SDGs, mentioned the Sustainable Development Goals. And as far as the SDGs are concerned, we are already working together quite successfully, for example, with the GIZ being active here in programs for green energy, for climate change mitigation, but also water issues, which is a new one. All of these, I think, particularly the environmental aspects, are areas where we work together quite a bit. We now talked during the visit also about looking at cooperation in the health sector. We have to see how we can develop that. And then, of course, education as one of the SDGs. We have been working together quite a lot. And during the visit, we agreed and we signed agreements that we will cooperate even more at the levels of schools, but also universities. So there's already a lot going on, and peace building, as you know, or may know, that the UN Training Center in Almaty exists.
Kazakhstan is ready to take an active role in the UN reform process, stated President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev at the second Germany Central Asia Summit hosted in Astana. The meeting, attended by leaders of 5 countries and Germany's federal chancellor, also covered other key topics. One of the major points discussed was the plan to export green energy to Europe. To facilitate this, the countries are planning to build an energy transmission line across the Caspian Sea. More details you will find in the following report.
The Independence Palace in Astana once again welcomed distinguished guests and friends. Leaders of Central Asia and the German Chancellor gathered for the second consecutive year to discuss key issues. Kazakhstan's hosting of this summit is no coincidence. In 2023, over 80% of Germany's trade with Central Asia involved Kazakhstan. President Tokayev in his welcoming speech emphasized Kazakhstan's readiness to increase exports to $850 million, particularly in energy resources. He also announced the country's willingness to boost oil supplies to Germany.
As a reliable and major energy supplier to Germany, Kazakhstan is prepared to increase oil exports to the German market. We look forward to continued support from our German partners to ensure long-term and stable hydrocarbon supplies.
Kazakhstan sees great potential for collaboration in transitioning to alternative energy sources. Last year, the green hydrogen cluster in Mangostau attracted its first German investment of colossal $50 billion. The head of state confirmed the ambitions of the country to become a leader in green hydrogen production.
We are ready for mutually beneficial cooperation in the development of hydrogen energy. Together with Uzbekistan and Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan is working on a project to build a green energy transmission line under the Caspian Sea to Europe. We invite our German partners to consider participating in the strategic project.
Kazakhstan is also ready to collaborate with Germany on the supply of critical materials in exchange for technology. This arrangement would allow German companies to freely mine ores in Kazakhstan, but with the condition that processing must take place within the country.
In addition, we welcome the plans of HMS Bergbau to carry out exploration work for the construction of a lithium processing plant in East Kazakhstan. Investments in this project will amount to $500 million. We are prepared to continue offering favorable conditions to German investors for the exploration and development of precious and non-ferrous metal deposits in our country. I also consider it beneficial, with support from our European partners, to establish a regional research center for rare earth metals based at Kazakhstan National Center for Technological Foresight.
The topic of regional security was also addressed at the summit. Kazakhstan supports the UN's efforts to combat terrorism, extremism and illegal migration. Politically, the focus shifted to a new initiative proposed by Kazakhstan's president during his speech.
Kazakhstan is ready to play an active role in the UN reform process. We believe that a number of developed countries, especially Germany, undoubtedly deserve a permanent seat on the UN Security Council.
Another key topic at the summit was the further integration of Central Asia in Europe's transport and logistics systems. Kazakhstan welcomed the decision of its European partners to allocate 10 billion euros under the Global Gateway program for the development of the Middle Corridor. There are also prospects for cooperation in the preservation of water resources. As a result of the summit, the leaders of the 5 Central Asian countries and Germany adopted a joint declaration on cooperation. Daurian Sagulov, New Time.
On the first day of his visit, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz held an open meeting with students at Maksut Narikbayev University. During the visit, Chancellor Scholz engaged in Q&A session with the students, discussing international politics. Notably, this is not the first time the university has hosted distinguished guests. French President Emmanuel Macron and former Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte have also spoken at MNU. To find out what questions the students asked the German Chancellor, watch our next report.
The students of the Maksut Narikbayev University can rightfully consider themselves fortunate. How many universities can claim a series of lectures by world leaders? This time, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, no stranger to probing questions from seasoned journalists, addressed an audience of sharp young minds, just starting to shape their futures. The topics for discussion were wide-ranging, from strategic cooperation to the global challenges facing the world.
Well, my question was about bilateral collaboration on eye level, and specifically I asked Mr. Chancellor Scholz what Germany can learn from Kazakhstan and what Kazakhstan maybe can learn from Germany. He concentrated on the collaboration on eye level aspect. What he said, I think, was true, that right now is a time where many old big countries that made the politics for a long time are maybe taking a step back.
While discussing global challenges, Olaf Scholz highlighted that infrastructure development plays a key role in driving economic growth. At the same time, a more careful approach to environmental considerations is essential. In response to students' questions about Kazakhstan's future and its role in Central Asia, the Chancellor expressed confidence that Kazakhstan has the potential to become a dynamic and resilient center in the region. The country must aim for political stability by integrating democratic principles and ensuring transparency, he added.
Yes, I was able to ask Mr. Schultz a question. I asked him about our foreign minister's recent visit to Kazakhstan in April and whether or not other Western European nations are looking to cram in on that relationship with Central Asia that he developed. And I think Mr. Schultz gave a very interesting answer that it's possible to have a relationship with a country that is good, but not agree 100% on everything. And so he's looking to develop a stronger relationship with Kazakhstan.
One of the key questions raised by the students concerned water resources management in Central Asia. Scholz stated that Germany is ready to collaborate with Kazakhstan to manage water resources more effectively. The Chancellor also emphasized the importance of international organizations and their role in maintaining global peace and stability. He noted that active participation in such organizations helps countries find common solutions and prevent conflicts. Daurian Sagulov, Aynur Mangali, New Time.
Let's turn to some other news. 2 weeks remain until Kazakhstan's national referendum on constructing of its first nuclear power plant. Scheduled for October 6, the referendum will pose the question, do you agree with the construction of a nuclear power plant in Kazakhstan? The citizens aged 18 and over are eligible to vote, which amounts for over 12 million people in 10,000 polling stations, according to Central Election Commission. In this context, 4 companies have made it to the shortlist as potential partners for the project. The French EDF, South Korea's KHNP, Russia's Rosatom and China's CNNC. Notably, Zhao Zhang, the vice president of CNNC, shared information on China's nuclear power market, as the country possesses 57 NPPs with an additional 47 under construction. Watch details in the New Time interview of the week section.
Mr. Chayev, thank you very much for joining us. As far as we know, your company is in the shortlist for considering to build the first nuclear power plant in Kazakhstan. What technologies exactly your company proposed to our country?
Probably we are here to present our nuclear power we call HBR 1000. It's the third generation commercial nuclear power technology. So with passive and active technologies to address the safety issues and also to provide economic electricity.
So as far as we know now, there are 4 companies, right?
Yes.
So what does your company differ exactly? What's your unique characteristic that differ from other companies?
Yeah, like I mentioned, the CNC is the sole company in China to run the nuclear business from the front end to the back end. I mean, from the uranium mining, conversion, enrichment, also fuel fabrications, even for the design and commissioning, construction with the nuclear power plant, for the even for the radioactive waste treatment and also the spent fuel management. So that means in CNC, you can get one-stop solutions since the mining and fuel and even for the nuclear power plant, and also after the nuclear power plant, normally we worry about the spent fuel, we also manage that. This is the one thing I want to deliver. The second thing is, you know, up to now in China, there is a great development of a nuclear power plant. By last year, there are 57 units in China put in operation, and another 47 now under constructions or approved by the central government. As I moved last week, I moved here. The central government approved another 5 projects. That means another 11 units. So that means in China, it's a very abundant experience not only for the O&M, I mean the operation and maintenance, but also for the construction. So we need to, we are ready to share our experience with Kazakhstan friends.
Let me confirm, there are around 100 going to
Yes,
be, yes, very soon. But they're all built only by Chinese company, or it is in collaboration with other countries too?
Yes, as you know, at the very beginning of the nuclear industry of China, we do have the international collaborations. We get the help not only from Russia, but also from France, Canada, even US. So based on this experience we gathered, we developed our own independent technologies. So like I mentioned, the nuclear safety always the top priority. And to address the nuclear safety, the international collaboration is a key measure. So we do benefit from this kind of international collaborations during past several decades. So that's the reason we are here to share our experience.
So let us actually come to the idea why the country government is currently considering to build the first nuclear power plant. They say that it's lack of electricity that will come very soon in our country, but there are still risks that ecologists and many activists say that can be caused because of if we decide to build that NPP, because it will cost also much expenses to our country, and also we have no experience in building such NPP. So what are still risks still exist if we do decide to build this NPP?
Yeah, back to the beginning of the nuclear industry in China, we do face some kind of risk or not we can risk or challenges, like the supply chain, like the human resources, the human capacity building, this kind of challenges, and also for the construction delayed or above the budget. It also is one of the challenges. So that's the reason we need to learn from some countries. They already developed the nuclear industry. So that's the reason we are here. We try to share our experience, not only for the successful story, but also for the lesson learned. And I believe what we were before, you will be faced the same challenges. So we want to share the experience.
According to the survey made by QNPP, 51% of Kazakhs support the idea of NPP in the country, but other 49% either against or still on the consideration to give the answer and something like that. So their main concern is, of course, safety, because the area for building the NPP is actually a rural area where actually people live, as well as it is near the lake Balkhash, which is quite vulnerable and important for us. Can it somehow influence, affect, because we have some suspicious because of the accidents that have had so far worldwide?
Everybody thinks the nuclear is good, is clean energy, but not built in my backyard. So what we are doing is, the nuclear power plant not to provide the safe, clean electricities, but also they can benefit the local societies. I worked in a nuclear power plant for more than 20 years. It's a nuclear power base 100 kilometers far from Shanghai, the biggest city in China. So the nuclear power plant do benefit the local societies. They provide the prominent jobs for the local peoples. Even in the winter, in the south part of China, we do provide the heating, but the nuclear power plant can provide the clean, we call district heating to the local society for very low price. So the people very enjoy to live in this area.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Continuing the subject of nuclear energy, the International Atomic Energy Agency has increased its nuclear energy forecast for the fourth year in a row, predicting a 2.5-fold rise in global capacity by 2050. The forecasts reflect a global consensus on the urgent need to accelerate the adoption of nuclear energy. According to the IAEA report, currently 413 reactors have a capacity of 371.5 gigawatt. The optimistic scenario predicts a doubling of capacity by 2050, while the pessimistic view suggests a 40% increase. Here, experts say the assessment took into account operational plans, possible lifespan extensions, anticipated construction projects, and plant closures.
As you know, for us, from the perspective of the agency, it's all about giving you the necessary support for that. Safety, security, and requires the international confidence that, of course, comes from your own actions and from your own work, but indispensably from the presence of the IAEA alongside in this process. So I really look forward to the next steps that Kazakhstan is going to be taking, Mr. Minister, and I look forward to working with you and to facilitating this very important process, which is not only important for Kazakhstan in terms of its own energy, but also for our global efforts in terms of clean energy for everybody.
Kazakhstan's Prime Minister Olzhas Bektenov met this week with Deputy Managing Director at the International Monetary Fund, Bo Li. They discussed structural reforms, the development of the country's fiscal and budgetary policies, and the financial market. Kazakhstan's long-term partnership with the IMF, which the country has been a member of since 1992, is key to ensuring economic stability. Bo Li, who came to the Kazakh capital to take part in a series of official meetings, expressed a strong interest in continuing close cooperation with Kazakhstan. He also highlighted the opening of the IMF's Regional Capacity Development Center in Almaty last year, which serves the Caucasus, Central Asia, and Mongolia.
We discussed the economic outlook of Kazakhstan and the opportunities and challenges for this country and how the International Monetary Fund can support Kazakhstan in navigating through this challenging global environment.
The International Monetary Fund is also ready to continue supporting Kazakhstan in its fight against climate change. According to Bo Li, Kazakhstan is already making significant progress towards sustainable growth. The country has set a goal to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. He made this statement during an environmental initiative where trees were planted in one of the capital's parks.
We think Kazakhstan has a good potential, a great potential in terms of developing a green economy. And to have a greener economy and a greener future, not only for Kazakhstan people, but also for the people in the region and also globally. The UN COP29 conference is coming up in this region. Actually, it will be hosted by one of the countries in this region, and we will be working with countries in this region, including Kazakhstan, to prepare for that process.
That's it for today. All the main news about Kazakhstan and Central Asia you can find here. More special projects about our country you can also watch on Silkway TV channel. So stay tuned and see you next week.